Hi, today I'm going to talk to you about Dick Smith and their collapse in January 2016. There were 5 major accounting methods that Dick Smith used. The first was to write down the value of inventory. This adjusted the fair value amount. The second was to sell the inventory at the new fair value. This would reduce the cost of the sale and increase the profit shown in the books. The third was not to purchase new inventory. This would keep the profit amount high from the previous sales of that year. The fourth was not purchasing from the demand of customers, rather to purchase inventory based on what would provide themselves with the greatest amount of profit derived from supplier rebates. And the 5, of course, was to go into voluntary administration. This meant hiring an administrative accountant to try and keep the business operating, though this evidently did not pay off as they closed their last shops in 2016. The first step being to write down the value of inventory showed a fair value adjustment of $58 million in the books. Woolworths sold Dick Smith to Anchorage for $94 million, even though the value of the company was evidently higher than $115 million. This was done through manipulating the value of assets. An example will be shown now. If inventory cost consists of 500 TVs on books for $1,000 each, Dick Smith would have written down the price to $600 each. If they then sold it for $850 each, that would give a profit of $250 for each TV by 500, which would give $25,000 of incorrect profit. Dick Smith had a total float of $520 million. This was given through the IPO, the initial public offering of Dick Smith shares, the company purchase, and an increasing book value. In 2012, Dick Smith had a book value with inventory of over $300 million. However, in 2013, that lowered to just $170 million. The reason of doing this was to keep profits high. All the sales that they made were attained in profits, with no costs associated with the purchase of new inventory. They did this by maintaining all their old stock. However, as they maintained their old stock, this gave them undesirable inventory, which they then had to sell at discount prices. In 2014, this amount grew to $250 million. This was due to retail stores demanding new stock be supplied. The purchase of new inventory, however, was not based upon what the customers wanted. It was dependent upon what would provide Dick Smith with the largest rebate amount. They also purchased new retail stores. This was done by borrowing money from the bank, which furthered their debt crisis. Dick Smith's dependence on rebates eventually led to a build-up in inventory and a slowing of inventory turnover rates because the stock on hand was not what the customers demanded. Finally, heavy discounts were needed to sell the retailed stock, destroying the margin uplift that the rebate sought to achieve, and in some cases, the stock could not be sold at all and became obsolete. This provided Dick Smith with a debt level of 67% and also a working capital ratio of just 1.23. On the 1st of July, Dick Smith's profit budget showed that they expected to make a profit of $45 to $48 million. However, on the 1st of October, this amount dropped quite significantly to just $37 to $43 million. It wasn't long after this, though, that Dick Smith made their special material announcement. On the 30th of November, Dick Smith made 6 key point announcements. The first was that management had initiated a review of inventory. The second, that stock holdings remain above management's preferred levels. The third was that we should remain cautious on the outlook of the Christmas trading period. The fourth being that we will continue to drive sales, maintaining flexibility on gross margin to reduce inventory. The fifth was a non-cash impairment of $60 million is required. And the final one, the company is unable to reaffirm profit guidelines previously provided. Now, what did this all actually mean? The first is that there was too much old stock sitting around that they would not be able to sell. The second point actually meant that they had too much stock left over than expected at that particular time of year. These 2 points fit in together. The third was very worrying to stakeholders. It showed that Christmas sales would be much lower than they thought they would be. The fourth also showed something very worrying. We are going to lower sale prices and will sell them at very low prices, even lower than the cost price of the item. This showed inevitable debt. However, the fifth was the most important. It showed that the old stock would be bought but cannot sell is now worth $60 million less than they acquired it for. They will be making a loss on every sale. The sixth is that their last profit guidance is unrealistic and they are unsure if they'll be able to make a profit at all this period. When identifying the stakeholders of Dick Smith, it is important to consider every aspect. Dick Smith's shareholders, potential shareholders, banks, lenders, suppliers, the government, the employees, and customers were all massively affected by the outcome of Dick Smith. The company ended up owing more than $400 million to its creditors, which included around $140 million to NAB and HSBC. They also deprived customers of approximately $20 million in dishonored gift cards. Over 3,000 employees lost their jobs. The last of Dick Smith stores were closed down on the 3rd of May 2016. When focusing upon shareholder well-being, it is important to identify the 70% drop in share price at the time of the material announcement. However, it wasn't just at this time that share prices fell. They started continually declining in June 2015. They are still currently owing $260 million, with share prices hitting an all-time low in November of 26 cents. The suicidal move came after the material announcement in 2015. They advertised their closing down sale in newspaper articles, online TV commercials, and radio advertisements. However, it was widely criticised. The owner and CEO of Harvey Norman, Mr. Harvey, said that they are not making any money if they sell everything in a fire sale. They will lose a lot of money. Why would they do that? That's committing suicide. Their sale included 60% off smartphones, tablets, fitness toys, GPS, and printers, as well as 70% off on TVs, Blu-ray players, and radio equipment. However, it was not the first time that Anchorage Capital were involved in the demise of a business. Anchorage Capital owned Burger King up until 2011. In the following 3 years, the company lost $2, $4, and $7.5 million respectively. Also, from 2007 to 2008, Anchorage Capital owned Golden Circle until they sold it to Hands. Not long after, Hands was forced to sack 300 workers and to close down 3 of their company's plants. The question now arises of what the greater impact is upon businesses and society combined. It definitely prevents companies from chasing pure immediate profit and focuses upon long-term gain. It shows a lack of consideration for stakeholders large companies possess, as well as disregarding consumer needs and wants. It displays the need for possible further accounting regulations. Not only that, but it also shows how supplier rebates need to be less sought after. Short-term profit is not always the key to success. Thank you for watching this YouTube video. Please like or subscribe my channel for more videos like this.